Yeah, see, the video is starting. We're about to go live with Tiger Talks.
There we go.
Not yet. Oh, we're live. Hey, we're live. What's up, Rodney? How you doing, man?
Good.
This is Tiger Talks. What episode is this?
I don't know.
I think it's episode 5.
Is it?
I think so.
I made it 5 episodes.
Tiger Talks episode 5. Welcome in.
Haven't crashed yet.
Come close a couple times.
Maybe.
All right, so
playing pretty low.
we're doing this on a Thursday. Normally, Tiger Talks happens on a Friday, but Rodney's going to be whisked out of town for a big birthday coming up. Rodney, how old are you going to be?
I'm gonna be 60.
60. Well, we're gonna have a good time today. We got Steve Casillo, the world class engineer, on the board running everything.
There you go. Thank you, Steve.
Rodney Lawson, Tiger Talks, Tiger Roofing.
That's right, Tiger Roofing. Been doing some roofing as we speak. Actually, they should be probably on the shingling up of a roof right now.
So you're tying it up.
Yep.
Well, let's get to it. Rodney, a lot of things happened in sports this last week. You want to talk about the Kaufman football game, high school football game?
Well, you know, it's a tough day for the Kaufman people, and it's a very great day for the Terrell people. But, you know, I live in, as I said off air, I went to Terrell High, so great job for the Tigers.
Yeah.
But we also live in Kaufman, and my 2 kids graduated from Kaufman. So, you know, I think I know one thing, they have a great coaching staff at both places, and I especially think the world of the coaches at Kaufman, just because I've known them. I've done a lot of roofs for several of the coaches, and they're just good people, and they're working very hard.
What did Kaufman do wrong to just get thumped so hard in that game?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know that they. You know, I just think. I think Terrell's got a great season. I think Coach Sudbury's doing a great job there. They have really not struggled against any opponent so far, and I think they have a team that is got a chance to do. You know, we'll see once they get to the playoffs. It seems like they're headed to the playoffs, and hopefully they're headed to the playoffs. But you know, I hope Kaufman finds a way to get in as well, because I'm a big fan of, like I said, the coaching staff and the people that I see at church. And there's a lot of people there. My son Reese works in youth, and he's working with a lot of the football players and sees them on every Wednesday night. And so, you know, you want both. It'd be fun to see Kaufman and Terrell somehow make it both into the playoffs, and about the 3rd or 4th week meet again. And because usually when things happen, I can take you back as far back as 1989, it was the year before I got to Terrell as a coach, when I was starting my coaching life, and Terrell had thumped Chapel Hill. I mean, just beat them really bad in the regular season. And they kind of found themselves against each other in the playoffs that year, and Chapel Hill beat Terrell on the way to winning
so it came back around again.
Oh,
huh?
yeah. Chapel Hill beat Terrell on the way to winning
So you
state.
think Kaufman has a chance when it comes back
Well,
around?
I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't follow it I'm not as closely tied to it as I am week by week, but it would be super cool to see them again meeting the playoffs.
So, Rodney, you gave me a very politically correct answer. I asked you for what they did wrong, and you just told me about your son working in the church. Shout out to Reese Lawson. How you doing, Reese?
Yep.
You told me about having friends and doing roofs in both communities.
Yep.
So let me ask you another question, because you're turning 60, and I'd imagine you're a little bit retrospective these days, thinking back on your past. And you and I have a lot in common in that we used to work with young people. You were a high school tennis coach. Let me ask you this question.
It's been a
Since
rough
we're talking
2 weeks,
sports,
too, and that's
sports
part
here,
of it.
Rodney, like, if you could go back in time, you're about to turn 60. You go back in time to when you were a high school tennis coach. You were a coach for high school kids. Knowing what you know now, what would you have done different being a high school tennis coach?
Wow.
Or did you just nail that job and you were perfect?
No, because there's some of the parents on here that could nail me even 30 years later. So, you know, one of the things, I was awful young. I was my first year at Waxahachie. I was not married, and then we got engaged into the meat of our season, into the spring part of our season. My first year at Waxahachie, and um, I'll just tell you, I don't mean to make this dimmer, because part of the last 2 weeks I've been kind of in a valley, and part of it has been due to the fact that um, we had such a good team by that third year. I had great parent support. I had great players all the way through. Well, I posted about this a couple of weeks ago, and I'll just be very blunt and very honest about it. We lost going in from our second year to our third year. I lost 6 of my top 7 girls, and that's tough in tennis.
That is tough
To replace. I built up the program, though, that we had several in JV, had a couple of freshmen coming in. I'd made it. When I first got there, people would take tennis just to take their PE credits and get them out of the way, and then you'd see them one year, and then you wouldn't see them again. And so I walked into the counselors, and I said, look, I'm here to build a program, so I need your help. I don't need you putting people in here that are just making it a PE class. I don't want that. And I also had the luxury of having two parents and another person that wanted her daughters to play, but they didn't, as school board members. So I had 3 school board members on the, and
Yikes.
that's huge.
Yeah.
That's very huge in a one-horse district.
No pressure there, Rodney.
No. Well, yeah, there wasn't. But so we replaced those 6 girls, and it was kind of rough in the first month of August. But I just kept telling them, encouraging them to do well. Just keep doing the things that we're teaching, and it'll pay off. And it did. I mean, we cleaned house at the spring. We came in second in team, went to regionals in team, and we cleaned house in the spring. And I think one of the things, just to kind of segue back to the birthday part, 30 was really hard for me, and I think it was because, I was married. We were trying to have kids, and when I turned, when I turned 31, a year later, we had Callie, and then later on we would have Reese. But 30 was hard for me, and I was trying to be a good dad, trying to be a good husband, trying to see if Waxahachie was going to be a long-term deal, which I didn't stay as a coach there, but we stayed there 20 years, had a wonderful time, wonderful memories. But going back to that third year, everything came together. Like, we finished first and second in all but 2 areas in the spring tournament. And one of those girls that was moved up because of the 6 that had left, or that had graduated, 2 graduated, and then I lost 4 because they moved out of town. And I felt like had we had kept those 6 and been stronger, I probably wouldn't have left after 3 years. And because we were developing a very strong girls program. And if you can develop a very strong girls program, that is big in tennis. At least it was back then. And since then, in 2018, I lost the number 1 girl. And then 2 weeks ago, the number 4 and number 5 girl on our team, lost her to cancer.
Oh.
And both of them passed away due to cancer. And, it's kind of like the old adage, you shouldn't have to bury your children. And they weren't my children, but they were like kids to me, because we were very close. About 90% of my team went to the same church that me and Kathy went to.
Yeah, where was that?
First Baptist. They
Okay.
saw me propose to Kathy because I did it at the church in front of everybody. And it was just it's been a tough couple of weeks. I'd also got a little sideways with one of my family members, and so and did like 30 was pretty rough. I've just not been looking forward to turning to 60 and trying to do everything I can to prevent the age turn. And I'm playing softball. And part of the reason I play softball is because I want to prove to myself and prove to others that I can still do this.
Yeah.
And I was playing golf with a guy that was kind of like a little brother to me, Tuesday, and he just looked at me and goes, he kind of made me feel good. He goes, "Dang, Rodney," he goes, "I hope I look as good as you when you hit that." And because it's been a rough couple of weeks, we kind of unbeknownstly found out. We were sitting there watching a baseball game, and Kathy was just scrolling through the social media, and we kind of discovered that the girl that had been on my team had passed away. And so we were already headed to a conference, we were already headed to ARCAT on that Wednesday, and we decided to go to her viewing was in San Antonio, and we decided to go to that. And I want to say this. I had a ton of good parents. And so this is not to take anything away from the other parents, but I don't think Gillette and Christy would mind. Elizabeth's parents, Elizabeth was the young lady that passed away. She was 46. And I cannot tell you how good Gillette and Christy were. They'd see me in church on Sundays, and they'd always come up to me and they go, "Hey, Coach, who we playing this weekend? What are we looking like? And what's it going to look like?" And they were just never, ever had a criticism, never, ever had a bad word. And it was just like that, even though they had just lost their oldest child. It was just like that, hey, just so supportive and so, man, like Gillette said, "Man, Rodney, I hadn't seen you in a long time. It's just so great to see you." And they're just great. I wish I could go back to 1995 because I thought I needed to move on and I thought I needed to do this. And I had such great parents. And I probably, if I could, in retrospect, you ask, what would I change? I probably wish I would have stayed there another 3 to 5 years because they were just really good parents. I just couldn't have asked for better parents, couldn't ask for better players. We had a really, really good team, especially that third year. And, we met Highland Park, which I don't care how good of a team you have. At
Highland
that
Park's
time,
going to be tough.
Highland Park knows how to play tennis,
That's
and
right.
they've been doing it for like 40, 50 years or longer. And, but we just really, really, I just can't think enough of those people. And so if anybody from Waxahachie is watching this, and you know those parents, and you know me and know who they were, they were just awesome parents all the way around. I just can't say enough about it. So,
well, that's a great answer, Rodney.
yeah,
That's a great
I don't
answer,
know if
and I
that's a
can
gr-
tell that you have been pretty retrospective here lately, and I understand.
Yeah,
I also want to say that we'll often meet in Waxahachie for consulting or
yeah,
have lunch, sit down, talk.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm ever in Waxahachie with you that 2 or 3 people don't come up to you and say, "Hey, Rodney, how's it
yeah,
going?"
yeah.
And I don't know who they are, but you definitely know a lot
Oh,
of people.
yeah. I mean, it was a great town. It was our home for 20 years. I've lived 4 places, and I'm the guy that has told Kathy I would love to live in different areas every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And I really would. That's not going to happen, unfortunately, for me. So we had to go travel different places. But, I've lived in Waco for Baylor. I've lived in Terrell, lived in Kaufman, and I basically lived in Waxahachie. And those have really been the only 4 places I've lived. And I would say that Kathy has even one less than me. She's lived in Livingston most of her life. She was born in Star City, I believe, or no, I don't think it's Star City. I think it was some other town in Missouri. But Star City is where she first was for 5 years. And then she was in Livingston through college, and then went to Baylor. So she lived in Livingston, Waco. Oh, I guess she has lived in 4 places: Livingston, Waco. She's actually lived in 5, as she claims Star City, but she's lived in Livingston, Waco, Waxahachie, and Kaufman. So,
Wow. Rodney, I see that Brian Reagan's joining us in the
uh-oh.
comments here.
Hi, Brian.
He's the BBB guy from Dallas. Really good guy.
Yeah.
He's got a
And
he's got a boy
a-
that's playing baseball. I think he's going to the Nazarene School up in Oklahoma.
Okay.
But he used to play tennis.
Yeah,
Former
that's I
college
see
tennis
that.
player. Yep.
Yeah, college tennis player. I'd be curious. Was it at the same school as your son's going to? But there's a lot of. I never played college tennis, so when I got out of Terrell, I went to Baylor, and and Waco had, and Brian may know this if he's from the Texas area. Waco had a big tennis center, and it was the Waco Tennis Center. And actually, at the time,
No, wait a second. Waco had a tennis center, and it was called the Waco Tennis Center.
I believe it was called that. I think it was, and
Imagine
I know,
that.
I know,
Right, Steve?
I know. Great. What'd you say? Somatic or
Yeah.
So anyway, it was right by Columbus Avenue where I went to church, Columbus Avenue Baptist Church, and it was just 8 courts on. There was a center right in the middle, and there was 8 courts on either side.
Are those pickleball courts now?
No, they're not even tennis courts anymore.
Oh, really? What happened?
Yeah, they tore it down, and I think they made it a skate rink or skating area.
Yeah.
And anyway, the pro there at that time was Lee McCleary, and his
Uh-huh.
dad is real big in Texas tennis, and Lee was the head coach at Baylor at that time. So your non revenue type sports, or you're like your outside of football, basketball, baseball, and maybe softball, often you had people that had other jobs that weren't really
Yeah.
like full time. Like right now, every head coach is full time Baylor
Right.
faculty, or UT or SMU, whatever the college may be. In this case, it wasn't, and so he was the head pro, and he also coached Baylor, and I got to play in
All
USTA
my coaches were the
tennis.
driver's ed teacher, the science teacher, the health teacher.
Yeah,
They wore
there you
about
go.
17 hats. Coaches these days,
Yep.
they get to just be the coach.
That's right. And so anyway, Lee was the head, and then Lee went to Ennis and started working in Ennis and would teach a lot of my kids at Waxahachie. So Lee McCleary is very good. But anyway, I started playing tennis again and played on the USTA level. So I didn't play for Baylor, but I played USTA. And the first 2-3 years of I actually throughout my whole college deal, I'd go off for weekends and go to play tournaments. I'd go to Houston. I'd go to Abilene. I'd go all over. Play.
Good times,
Waco had a lot of tournaments, and I'd play a lot of tournaments in Waco. So
Rodney,
it was
let me ask you
fun.
this question, all right? Because you know a lot of people.
Yeah.
You've a lot of influential people, a lot of people in high positions in education. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're turning 60, and we're doing a little retrospect show today. So I want you to give me 3 names of people in your past that were highly influential on your life. And you can't say your dad and your mom, okay? So no family members here. But what are the 3 names that come to the top of your mind when I say, Rodney, who were the most influential people in your life over the last 60 years? And you can pass on this question because I know that means, and I know you hate to do it, I know when you name somebody, that means you leave somebody else off the list. So let's just go in this with the caveat that I'm putting you on the spot, and there could be other people that are on this list, but what are the 3 names that come to the top?
So, man. So I'm going to probably give you more than 3.
Okay, well, it's your show. It's called Tiger Talks with Rodney Lawson. So
So I'm gonna do this in a wide variety of ways. Okay. So, man. So when I was in school,
this is at Baylor?
no, at Terrell.
Oh, when you're in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're going to take us all the way back. what, to 1983,
Yeah.
84?
Well, yeah. I would say there were three people. Of There were five people that really changed, that had a huge influence on me, teacher wise. I got to start off with, I mentioned her many, many times, back with the diner and everything, because we bought our diner from our kindergarten teacher, Amy Noble.
I remember you talking about her.
Amy Noble. Fifth grade, Miss Adams. Junior year, Coach Smelly, who may or may not see this, was a big part of me.
He was a coach of what?
He's a football coach. I didn't play football, but he was a history teacher for me.
Okay.
And I've done his roof twice now, and also Karen Bedford, who was my senior English teacher. I will say that another coach who we've talked about in my Bible studies, my couples, because they would come, has become more influential later in my life in some areas, and that's Steve Kunkel. I
think I've seen Steve Kunkel's name show up on your social media.
Yep. And
okay.
he's the wonderful guy, great guy in my opinion. And then as I moved into college, and I must mention Herman Furlow. Herman Furlow was a counselor at the time, and then he later became principal. And just throughout growing up, he was a big influence. I would say, though, since I've been in education and then in sales, I'm going to mention 4 people, and there's a ton of people.
Yeah.
God, there's a ton of people.
I mean, I'm putting you on the spot, but who comes to mind?
I mean, pastors, I'd have to say Casey Perry, Joe Perry, and I've got a top 5 or so. I've had 11 pastors, and I would say several of them, Casey, Joe Perry, Bob Price, David Brown, Tony Sheffield, and Brent Gensel and Randy Wade. I know that's more. They've all different times had, David Griffin, have all had big influences on me in different areas. But I would say when I got into coaching and teaching, I went to Terrell for 2 years. Then I went to Waxahachie. And I was put over at a middle school instead of the high school. And I wasn't happy about that because I wanted to be around my kids so I could see them daily and make sure that they were doing their stuff. And it just wasn't in the cards for that. And it was probably a blessing in disguise because when I became a principal for 5 years later in life, probably one of the most influential people in my life was an African-American lady named Evelyn Coleman. And to this day...
Now, what school district was this?
It was at Waxahachie.
Waxahachie.
And I've not seen Miss Coleman in a long time. It was at a funeral the last time I saw her, and it was probably well over 15 years ago. I did try to knock on her house after the storms this past spring.
Okay.
And she didn't answer, but I don't blame her. I mean, but her and her husband, Bo passed away many years ago, but they were just they didn't have any children. But I just can't say enough about how much influence she had on me, and I don't even know if she realizes it. And then as I segued away from school and went into roofing sales and stuff, I would say Brian Vickery, Derek Howard, and then outside of roofing, Rob Peters and Johnny Garner had a lot of influence on me. And I'm leaving out still a ton of people.
Well, I know you are.
Because there have been a lot of people. I mean, you've had influence on me. And there have been others that have just had a lot of influence on me.
Rodney, if you could go back, and let me
Sure.
tighten this up a little bit, because I know you know a lot of people and a lot of good people. But let's ask this question. You go back any time in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and you could sit down and have one more lunch or one more dinner with that person, just have a good conversation with them, who would you like to go sit down and have a meal with and just talk with for one more time?
My dad.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. We lost him a couple years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, 2018, and yeah, my dad.
Yeah, he would have
After my dad, my son.
he would have liked to be here.
After my dad, my son, and
Yeah.
my daughter.
Callie,
Yeah, and my wife. I mean,
Reese.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't want to leave out my wife.
I mean, you eat lunch with Kathy all the time.
There's another one that's coming in that has come into my life in the last year, and he's become a great friend, and he's also someone that I enjoy having lunch with.
I mean,
and
if you're
talking.
sitting down with your dad, first of all, you're sitting down with your dad. I know it doesn't matter
Yep.
what meal you have, but where are you probably going to go?
Up until July, it would have been the diner because he would have liked that kind of stuff. He would have liked the fact that I was in the restaurant business because it's what he always told me I needed to do.
Yeah, he liked the home style,
He
southern, laid
He
back.
did. He would just somewhere he would just like somewhere where we could get a hamburger, onion rings, and a Dr. Pepper, and
Oh, that
he'd
sounds
be
good.
good. He'd be good.
Now, you got to catch him up on a few things, okay?
Yeah.
Because he's been gone a minute.
Yep.
What do you want him to know?
I'd want him to know that his grandkids are doing well, and I want him to know that I'm doing well. It's funny, and I know this may sound crazy, and it may sound when I'm driving down the road and it's been a tough day or something. I mean, I'll look over in the passenger seat and just start talking like I'm talking to my dad, and maybe that's crazy to some. I have no.
So you've
idea.
already told him what needs to be said.
Huh?
You've already told him.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell them. I'll just have a conversation and I'm sure there's people passing me by like, what the heck is that guy doing? But it's just it kind of is. I don't know, therapy, or I wouldn't say therapy, but it's kind of relaxing for me to just kind of feel like I'm sharing something with my dad.
Oh, I get it. I used to have Richard, my father-in-law,
Yep.
pick me up from the airport when I'd come in from consulting. And so I'd be gone somewhere, someplace.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard pull up and, I'd hop in. He goes, Mike, how's the trip? And we just depressurize,
Yep.
decompress for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yep.
So, I park at Terminal A now because I like how easy it is to get in.
Yep.
And I'll hop in the car, and first thing I'll do is I'll turn to the passenger seat, and I'll
That
talk
makes
to
me feel
Richard.
better.
He ain't even there.
It makes me feel better.
It's weird when because I lost my dad a lot of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird when you realize that you're the top of the food chain now.
Yeah.
Like, and your
Yeah,
kids,
you're right. You're right.
and
Mhm.
you're the granddad, and you're the
Yep.
patriarch, and you're the one that's carrying things on, and you got several more decades that you got to be strong and
Mm-hmm.
take care of things. Hey, I wanted to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this one down because I want to talk about the restaurant closing, because you and your dad probably would have gone there.
Oh, yeah.
Would have had a meal.
Yeah.
Take me back to the night before you finally decided that it was over. The night before you said, tomorrow morning I'm going to tell the staff. I'm going to let people know. The night before it became real that the restaurant was growing, it was going to close. What phone call, what conversation, what event from that day still kind of runs around in your head? What memory do you have, and what did you take from it that's kind of changed how you've?
So, I haven't really ever thought about that. Like I said, a lot of people don't understand, and I think Kathy and I both. That would probably be more of a question for Kathy. And I've said this a couple of times to some people because I don't know if any of my employees will watch this or not. I deeply cared about my employees, and I deeply cared about that diner. And if there's some Crandall people watching this, I deeply cared about that. I can tell you that when I made and actually it wasn't the night before, when I made the decision that we were going to pull the plug and ultimately not look back, I had already told Kathy as we were going into a trip that we took in May to Maine. No, we didn't. We went to Maine in August. A trip that we took to Italy in May. I said, we're going to talk about this on the trip. We're going to take a day and we're going to talk about this. And I did. I took a day. Kathy went on and went to the excursion. I didn't. And so really it was more about 4 weeks before we told them, because we didn't tell them until July 1st. But we had already decided that we were going to, the quote unquote lease was August to July, so it was going to end in July anyway. And I told Kathy, I said, we're going to go 2 weeks in. We're going to tell everybody 2 weeks. And I'd been told by several gurus that are in the restaurant business, don't tell them until the day before. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. They've been with me. There's been 2 or 3 of them that have been with me almost all 5 years. Well, one of them had. And I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give them. And I said, and I prepped Kathy as for the worst, that it could be down to just me and you. But if it is, we're going to go till July 12th, regardless if it's just the 2 of us. And so I kind of prepped. And the reason I chose July 12th is because I've been in the roofing business long enough to know that from about July 2nd or 3rd to about July 8th or 9th, that's a dead time because people are celebrating the 4th of July,
going out of town.
Sometimes they may go on vacation or something. So I knew that if I had to be in there every day, that I wasn't going to disrupt roofing that much. And I can make it. And the weekend, the 12th was on a Saturday, and so I could end it on that Saturday, and then we could get out of town for a day or 2 and then be back and go full throttle on the roofing. So the decision had already been made. And when I tell people I cared about that roofing, about that diner, I cared about the employees, and I cared about the people that came in there, I did. But once I made that decision and I prayed about it and I had a peace about it, it wasn't really a thought that, man, am I doing the right thing? Oh, sure, I had bouts, but, man, we had already been through those, and I drug it out probably 7 months longer than I should have, and I should have probably ended it in December instead of carrying it all the way through July. But I wanted to keep a commitment, and I basically wanted to keep a commitment to the landlord, and so I made it work. And but as far like I can tell you the day after I woke up on the golf course, I woke up and got to the golf course in Blanchard, Louisiana, with Chris and crew, and Chris' first words to me, he just said, "Man, Rodney, you look a lot relaxed." And I said, "I am."
Yeah.
And I said, "Let's hit it.
Let's hit it. Let's go.
And let's play." And I didn't have one thought. And again, I don't want that to sound coarse or harsh to people, but I believe that was a God thing, and I believe God put me and Kathy at peace and allowed us to move forward. And hopefully people can understand that, and hopefully people won't think I didn't care, because I did. But once it was over, it was over.
It was over.
And it's just a chapter in my life that I'm very thankful that I did go through, and that I learned a lot out of it. Some of it not so fun. And
let's review the chapters in your life.
Okay.
I made some notes here.
All right.
So you're a failed restaurateur.
Yes.
You've been a
Let's don't
teacher.
push that too hard.
You've been a tennis coach.
I failed at two things.
You've been a school administrator.
I failed there.
You've been an insurance agent. You've been a roofing salesman. Did I miss anything?
No.
Okay,
I
so
was, I mean, no. I've tried a lot of things. I've sold cars too, but
you've been a car salesman.
yeah. In fact, it was not too far from here. I was a salesman at Buzz Post.
That's right. I remember you saying that now.
But that wasn't as long as the main things I've done. There are many days I wish I could go back and be the tennis coach at Waxahachie again. I'd love that. I absolutely love the time there. Absolutely love that. But I absolutely love what I do right now.
Yeah. So everything in our past takes us to where we are today.
Yes.
Today, you run a successful, very successful, multi-million-dollar roofing company. So
Yeah.
give me a habit, or maybe a decision-making progress you've carried with you from the old days, from the car days, the roof and sales days, or the insurance days. Give me something that you've carried with you that serves you well in running a multi-million-dollar
I'm going to give you
roofing
two
company.
things,
All right.
and these will tie into kind of how I like to tie it in. And I was reminded of it last night at our men's Bible study. Then I threw on some Craig Groeschel and actually threw on a John Maxwell today on the way over here. We were talking about prayer last night and steadfastness and supplication of prayer and all. And I learned a new term last night, and and it has been on my mind last night, actually woke me up in the middle of the night, and it's been on my mind this morning coming over here. And I don't know, and I don't know how much time I've got, but I'm going to try to, it's hard. I'm going to try to get two things out.
All right.
I can tell you where I've been my most successful
Okay.
and where I've been my worst of worst.
All right.
When I've been very intentional, and when I've been very, not a mechanical prayer, but very, very in tuned into my prayer. And, like the last 2 weeks, I lost a big Decker deal yesterday. I checked in with the people 2 or 3 days after talking to them on Friday, after hearing, hey, you're my man. And I checked in with them, and we got multiple bids, and we went with the cheaper price, and which is not always good. I hope they get a good job, but Decker is not something. It's not like slapping on a laminate roof. It's a little bit more detailed than that, and I hope they get the value that they're gonna get through that. I wanted that, but it's just one of those things that happens. You're not going to get everybody, but two things that, let me get back to where I was at. When I've been my most successful is I've been somewhat intentional, and I've been somewhat very in tuned into my prayers. When I've been very mechanical about my prayers, which as it was presented to me last night, hey, God, thank you for this day. Hey, God, help us out. Hey, God, guide our paths. Hey, God, remember those in need. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Mm-hmm. And that's more of a mechanical type prayer. We're
prayed a few of those myself.
And, yeah, I've prayed a lot of those. Probably Kathy might, if she was sitting here, she's going to say, hey, you prayed that this morning on the way out to me. And, I think sometimes that we get caught up in our life, and we get caught up in the daily do's and the daily don'ts, and we get just caught up letting life run us instead of us being intentional about our life, being purposeful, being making deliberate choices, being proactive, being mindful, and I don't have my glasses on. I hate putting on my glasses. Sorry. It's being mindfulness and awareness, focus and clarity, meaning and connection. Sometimes we let it hit us in a passive way. We passively walk through life too often. And then I think in the second part of that is that we get passive with our prayer life.
Yeah.
And we don't really come to God with our full wants and desires and our full request
Yeah.
because we haven't prepared ourselves and prepared our hearts for it.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, that's good. I mean, you had that answer ready to go.
yeah.
Intentional,
And I didn't know that you were going to ask that question.
huh? Hey, I got a follow up to that. You ready?
Yep.
So, running a multi-million-dollar roofing company is a lot different than beating the streets as a roofing salesman or fighting over premiums as an insurance agent.
Especially when you're doing both.
So, what what did you have to unlearn from your prior experiences in order to run a multi-million-dollar company? Like, education teaches you a certain philosophy on life, certain outlook. You know, doing it from a sales perspective is definitely a different perspective than doing it from an ownership perspective. So, what have you had to unlearn in order to be successful where you're at now?
You have to learn to delegate. You have to learn to let others work, and sometimes that's hard. Um, uh, Going back to the young man that told me how good I looked at 60, we were talking about this very thing Tuesday. He's got 3 guys under him, and they've struggled at times at delivering and taking care of customers like he does.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the biggest struggle for every owner who has sold, because most owners, if not all owners, get into the roofing business from being salesmen. That's exactly what I did, and I still sell. And what happens is you have trouble, if this is answering the question right, you have trouble of letting go because you've done it so long, and you have trouble letting go to let others sell. And because of that, you have a trust factor that sets in, because if they make any mistakes, then they can't do it as well as you did. And or if they don't take care of the customer as well, then, and it's hard because, and they think that on their end, if I was to put their hat on, they think, well, you're being judgmental and you're being too harsh. And there is not, and I don't know if he would like this or not, but it's a conversation I was having with Reese yesterday. Is I said, look, you got to understand there are more roofers in our county now than there were when we first started. And I said, you got to understand that if we're not prompt, if we're not there on time, they're going to move on. Or even if they recommend us, they're going to say, yeah, it was a great experience, but this happened. And it's even with me. It's not just Reese. It's even with me. It's with others that may or may not sell for us. We have to be very prompt and very mindful of that. And as I was talking to Lance on Tuesday, he's like, yeah, I got a guy that just doesn't take care of people as well as I would. And or he had a guy. And I'm like, I get it. And I understand what he's talking about. And I understand that because once we have that standard, and it's kind of like, once the diner was gone, I took my full attention back to roofing, and I've had a steady stream of people coming in referrals. The one I'm going to see this afternoon is a referral from a roof I did in August of 2012. And that roof, they haven't had a roof since then. And now they need a new roof. And she's called me, and I'm going to go out there and sit down with her. And she was very impressed, told me on the phone. She goes, I was pretty impressed with the way you handled a part of it. And I just want to call you and start with you. And so, I did a roof for a person in Waxahachie. Their next door neighbor, who I thought had a company already, called me. I don't have the contract yet. I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I have a chance to get it because they called me, and she told me, it was so refreshing to hear this. She goes, Rodney, I saw you drive up because I parked in the people's driveway that I did the roof 3 months ago because I had brought them some dinner because they kind of helped connect me to that couple. And she goes, "You drove up," and I was working in the yard. She goes, "You're the first person today that's been on time for anything that I've dealt with." And I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to do that better, and I've made mistakes in not doing it as well, not being on time." And, people value that, and you don't realize that, and you never know about it. But I think delegation and just trying to get people, and I think Maxwell has said it, and this one today, but Maxwell has said it before, if you can get them to do 80% of what you do, you got to trust them and let them do that because that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Rodney, I promise when we're back in 2 weeks, for
Yeah.
episode 6, that it won't be as.
No,
as-
it's good. Well, 2 weeks will be the week after the birthday, so we'll see.
Let's look at this. We got a little more 5 minutes. One more question.
Yeah,
All right, you're here on the eve of turning 60,
I'll be turning 60 October 12th,
October 12th. All right,
so we got about 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah.
And let's kind of fast forward in time now, because you got a lot of healthy, growing years ahead. You're going to build a lot of
Hope.
wealth, a lot of income in the next couple decades. But
Hope.
let's say that you're at that last 5 minutes before you hand off the company. Not the last 5 minutes of life.
You can say either one. I don't
The
care.
last 5
I
minutes.
know where I'm going.
You're
so
gonna
it
hand
doesn't
off
matter.
you're gonna hand off the company.
Uh-huh.
The thing that that has done the best for you, the thing that has really provided for your family. You're about to hand this off to the new owner, or maybe it's handing off to Reese. I don't know. I'm not setting anything
Sure.
in place here, but what's the 5 minute story you're going to give them? Like you've got to know this before I leave my baby with you. What do they got to know? Give me the 5 minute recap.
Do the best you can to take care of customers each and every day.
That's like 5 seconds.
What else you want to do?
Well,
What else you want me to say? I mean, that's really what you got to get to. You got to take care of the customer. You got to take care of that customer. The times we haven't taken care of the customer is when we've lost market share. Plain and simple. The times that we haven't taken care of customer is when we've lost market share. It's no clearer than that.
What-
If every one of my salesmen
what does it mean?
that came
Take
to
care of the
work for me
customer.
took care of the customer every single time. And, I thought about this and, maybe one episode we can focus on talking about baseball because I have some very big opinions about that. But if you look at why the single, and he says it over and over, if you ever watch any of his reels, Jesse Cole, who runs Savannah Bananas,
Yeah,
nobody knew who Jesse Cole was
yeah,
2 years ago.
that's true.
And I think they've been doing Savannah Bananas 3-5 years. I mean, people heard about them, but it wasn't anything but Jesse Cole. He dresses up in a yellow banana suit, wears a hat like Abe Lincoln, and he looks kind of dorky, but it's the best dorkiness that you could ever look. And Jesse Cole's promises and tries to deliver on the fact that we're here to give y'all the best time, best 2 hours. We're going to keep you here for 2 hours. We're going to give you the best time, and then we're going to let you go. And it sells out every single time.
Now listen,
And-
Rodney, your answer to that question, it really shouldn't surprise me. I was hoping for a little longer than that, but that's the reason why when
mean-
somebody asks me if I know a roofer, and I'm not running a roofing company anymore. I don't
No.
have any equity in a roofing company. My brother-in-law, as you know, he passed on, and I know that if you're going to be on somebody's job, that you're going to take care of them.
Yep.
That they're going to get their phone calls answered, that they're going to get
I'm gonna
honest
try.
and sincere help, that you're going to take care of them. And if something goes wrong, you're going to bend over backwards. Even if it costs you money, you're going to bend over backwards to make sure that customer's taken care of.
Yep.
And I love that about you, Rodney.
Well, it's like yesterday. The lady that I'm doing her roof for, one, she trusts me, And Kathy said, "How did we get her?" And I told her this backstory of how we got her. We started using a credit union in 2010, and I had a girl. She left the credit union, and it kind of fell into Colleen's lap. And so Colleen became my lender when I'd buy cars. And Colleen can tell you I bought several cars. And I'd always call her, and I'd say, "Colleen, let's go. You're doing it." And so when I came up, she goes, "Rodney, I've had a lot of people knock on the door, and I've had a lot of people that I've talked to." She goes, "But I trust you." And then yesterday, I asked her, and part of that reason is because I would hope that people would say this about me, is that when she came to the house yesterday and we were working on it, I said, "Well, how was Canada?" Because she went to Canada. And I put a little value hopefully into people as they come in, as we interact. How do you invest in people? And I tell Reese, I tell Lee, we got a new guy named Brock, and I tell him, I said, "Man, find out as much as you can about the people, and then genuinely ask them." Like, I wasn't just asking her to get an answer out of her. I was wanting to know how she enjoyed Canada with her daughter, because I used to go to Canada on some trips for a guy in Cedar Hill that I worked for a couple of times, 3 or 4 times a month on a Saturday, and he would send me up and take cars up there, and then he'd fly me back, and I'd stay a day or two with his dad. And his dad spoke very little English, but we got along and had a great time. He was Polish, and we had a great time, and he'd take me all over north of Toronto. And so I've seen parts of Canada that nobody else in my family has, and it was awesome. And we just got along, and we could barely understand each other, and it was the best thing. But you find a way, and it was fun. I mean, when Kathy tells me where are we going, like when we went to Maine, some of our best experiences during that whole time was not only with each other, but just like we were sitting in a diner, and this waitress gives us like 3 or 4 places to go to, and they turned out to be some of the best picture places that we could take pictures.
Yeah, you got some great pictures.
And we learned a little bit about her, and then we were introduced to the owner, and we started talking about similar life in the diner business. And I mean, I told Kathy, I said, "I'd love to go to like Scotland and just go to the taverns." I said, "I don't drink, and I'm not going to drink a beer or anything, but I'm going to sit there with water or tea, and we're going to sit there and have story after story, and not even know each other, but be able to tell story after story." So that's just what I like to do.
Well, Rodney Lawson, this has been Tiger Talks with Rodney Lawson, episode 5. I have no doubt that the future's bright. Albert Einstein said that the 5th wonder of the world is, or the 8th wonder of the world. He didn't say nothing about the 5th one. He said the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest.
That's right.
And compound interest pays on time, it pays on attention, it pays on energy. Rodney, you've spent an entire lifetime investing into people because you love people.
I do.
So I have no doubt that the future is going to be incredibly bright for you because you got all that compound interest coming, building and growing. So last question here, and we're going to close it off and let Steve shut down the board and call it a night at Tiger Talks. But your dad's not here, but I'm here, and we're kind of in that weird hour between breakfast and lunch. So what are we eating? And where are we going?
Where do you want to go?
No, come on. You got to come up with an answer.
We can go to, we've been to is it El Primo?
Yeah, that's a good place, El Primo.
I'm not sure they're going to be open at this early. But
all right, where you want to go?
Our place?
Our place. Our place restaurant. We're coming.
That's your favorite place.
That's my favorite place. Go see my people. All right, Rodney.
That's
Tiger Talks, episode 5. It's in
there
the can. Go. Steve Casillo on the board. Rodney Lawson. I'm Mike Code. Thanks for watching, guys.
Have a great day.